Welcome, everybody. This is Tao of the Day. Last week I didn't come up as often as I used to, but we have things to do sometimes. So here we are talking about the Tao Te Ching. What is the Tao Te Ching? The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text, and it translates, the Tao Te Ching translates to the canon of reason. Canon is the official sort of writings, the full text of how to live a reasonable life, and that's how I address the Tao. And if you have a number between 1 and 81 you would like to come up and share, I would love to read your Tao for the day. So you don't have to know anything about the Tao Te Ching. You don't have to be a Taoist. You don't have to be, this works on so many different levels. And everything that we do here on Tao of the Day is just in service. And so I want to help you live your life in a more reasonable way, and in a way that allows you to allow others to be who they are, while you are allowing yourself to be who you are. Dr. Robert is going to be my first guest today. Dr. Robert, it's always nice to chat with you. How are you? How was your weekend?
Oh, great. I'm writing this book and I'm going to put it on pre-sale by the end of this month or the first of next month. And so I'm just a little excited about it, and is it going to the next step?
There's always another step, isn't there?
Yes.
There's always another step. So, and speaking of the next step, let's see what the Dow has to offer you. If you want to give me a number between 1 and 81.
72.
72. Off we go to 72. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without teaching, so that people will have nothing to learn. So that's interesting. Like you're putting out a book. I don't know what that book is about. What's the topic of your book?
Unaware of your awareness.
Unaware of your awareness. So, is this about kind of getting in touch with deeper senses of awareness?
Yes. Subtitle is Dyslexic and How I came over it.
Ah, okay, okay. So, here what we, when we start looking at, the first part of this 72 is these two lines that address uh, losing faith in yourself. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. And when I look at that and I look at your book, I can't help but notice that, everybody, I talk about this idea that there is no standard. Like, you may have dyslexia, right? It
Mhm.
seems that that's what the book is. But you're just you. You don't have dyslexia until dyslexia is defined. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Here it is, maybe you had an experience where, something was difficult, or you got diagnosed with dyslexia. And so there it was. Now you can exist within this box of dyslexia. You can exist within this box that authorities have created. They haven't been created by you. You just are you. You are who you are, without added definitions of dyslexia or whatever else we're carrying around. And so when they no longer trust themselves, and how could you trust yourself when you are in school, let's say, and being told that you don't learn the same way as everybody else because we have only one way of teaching? And so, I have dyslexia as well, and so
Yeah.
there's a lot of parallels here, you know. But when they no longer trust themselves, and how can you trust yourself when you are in a system that is built to take you away from trusting yourself? So that, because the more you don't trust yourself, the more you depend upon authority, and the more you depend upon authority, the more the authorities can gain, the more power the authorities gain in that.
And controlling you.
Yeah, then you get to live under their influence, in my parlance, under their influence increasingly. Because the more you live under their influence, the more power they have. And the more power they have, the more of the things that they want they can get, right? And you get to capitulate to their power, because once you say I have dyslexia, now what does that mean? Dyslexia is just another word, but it was a word created by authorities. And now you start Googling, well, what's dyslexia? Or, you know, like, you're older, so you probably didn't Google it. You looked it up, or you went to
Mhm.
doctors, your parents brought you to people, and you went and sought out authorities. Maybe authorities on dyslexia, maybe authorities on getting to know yourself so that you could trust yourself more.
Yes. I was in the fifth grade, and the teachers asked us to memorize the 50 states and learn to spell them. So she asked me to go to the board and spell Mississippi. I couldn't spell that word. So what I did is walk to the other side of the board and I spelled the word backwards. She said, James, you are dyslexic and that is unique.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting. I got a zero on a spelling test once because I spelled all 10 words backwards correctly. And they were like, "No, they're spelled backwards. He does not get any points for them." So, yes, I know I know the routine. And so, you know, like, nobody told me I was dyslexic. I don't think. They may have told my mom that. I don't know. But I owned that label that they gave me, and I didn't trust myself. You know, I didn't trust myself anymore in school. I didn't trust myself, and to this day I still struggle with an identity of me not being smart. And I struggle with that. And that's not like, I know I'm smart. I'm smart as a whip. And I know I'm intelligent, and I know I offer a lot. But, you know, there are times, you know, moment to moment, that I struggle with that. And that's because there was a time where I didn't trust myself. And that lack of trust can come up from time to time. But I have to recognize that, you know, like, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. And the master, you know, when we talk about, there's, you know, what is a good man but a bad man's job? What is a bad man but a good man's teacher? Or, you know,
Mhm.
what is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? And then, you know, I like to look at that as being me, right? I am both the bad man right now in this moment, stuck in the idea that I need to depend upon authority. And then I'm also the good man, knowing that I there is within me is the master that trusts himself. So that people won't be confused, is that I won't be confused. I have to step back. I don't want to judge myself for believing these things, but I want to step back and become aware of the idea that I can trust myself. Just like your book, right? Your book's talking about awareness. And so, like, this idea that I can be aware of the fact that I trust myself. And you teach without teaching so that people have nothing to learn. Be here now. You know, I wrote I wrote someone the other day who was talking to me about surrendering
Mhm.
to some things. And, you know, and my message was, oh, well, when you surrender, you're in accordance with all things. And her response was, well, you know, paradoxically, when you don't surrender, you're in accordance with all things as well. And that's the thing, you're never not within accordance of all things, but you can just be here now. And the less you think, you know, like, that's one of the primary tenets of the Tao Te Ching is don't think. Stop thinking and end your problems. And that's a big deal. And when we can be here and stop relying on authority and start trusting ourselves more, you know, we can gain that sense of awe. We can gain that sense of trust within ourselves because there's nothing to learn. We are perfect right here as we are. And
Mm-hmm.
then that next step is going to be done, you know, within grace. Despite all of the work we do to shoot ourselves in the foot, we are going to experience that grace. We are going to experience that moment. And that's going to be beautiful. Whatever that moment brings.
That's right. And I was thinking about my teacher said that was she knows I was dyslexic and unique, but your teacher wouldn't take authority, and take a look at your dyslexic being responsible. They just gave you a zero because you wrote all the words backwards, but you spelled them all right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And maybe that is, why you're writing a book on dyslexia and I'm talking about the down.
That's right.
Right? That brings us all on different paths. And our path, my path, and your path are very different. Right? I mean, although, yes, I can associate with the idea of dyslexia and holding on to that. And I do have the moments to moment where I, you know, want, like, once again, I know firmly that I'm smart and stuff. But like I said, they do pop in little moments of like, ugh, frustration, you know, around a lot of that. But there was nothing to overcome because I didn't hold the label of dyslexia as a kid. So I didn't depend upon authority so much to tell me what was wrong with me. I just knew I got a zero, and that dealt with me, and I dealt with that differently than you did when you addressed your dyslexia. So like that's the thing. It's my experience. There's no standard.
That's
There's
right.
no standard experience. There's nothing that you are trying to, when people talk about perfection and being perfect or whatnot, like there's this idea that there's a standard. Like we all experience the same thing, which we didn't, and we all are going in the same direction, which we're not, and we're all trying to get to the same place, which we're not. And so when we look at, this is why I say don't let your definition of the word perfection rob you of yours, right? You are perfect as you are. Now, stop trying to compare and compete, and we can open ourselves up. This is why it says here at the end of 72, therefore the master steps back so that people won't be confused. Step back from the definition, step back from authority, step back from a religion. None of those things have the answer, but you do. Trust yourself and immerse yourself in your own sense of awe. The master's teachings The master teaches without teaching so that people will have nothing to learn. Like as soon as we tell someone you have dyslexia, we're teaching them about a box that we're putting them in, and one that maybe they have to reside in, and then you had to overcome that, and now because of that experience you get to write a book you know
That's right. And I looked up the word and said, "Oh, I'm a little slower than other people's, and I tend to see words backwards, and I said, okay, well, now that I know, I challenged myself.
that's right. And then you don't have to be confused. You can just step back and experience this, like you got to experience the definition which was created by someone else, and then you challenged yourself from that perspective, and that ultimately led you to trusting yourself deeper in that framework.
That's right. And so, I mean, yes, I could have easily gave up. I mean, it's like one uh, day I was getting off the bus, we had integrate, and the vice principal says, why integrate? The black is going to amount to nothing. I'm like, she looked around at me. I looked up in the sky, and went on about my business. But now I have a PhD in philosophy and a bachelor's in humanity. I have wrote and taught for over 30 years man-woman relationship courses. I live in a 5-bedroom home on a half an acre. I've been married 28 years, and my biggest issue is getting out there playing in my garden.
There you are.
So I didn't
And
let this black to stop me. I succeeded in what it is that I wanted to do.
yeah, and that's the thing. Day to day, moment to moment, you get to be here. And the more you trust yourself, the less you depend upon authority. The more you get to be in awe of your garden, the less you need to turn to religion. And step back and don't confuse people. Don't confuse yourself. Thank you so
That's right.
much, Doctor. I appreciate your
Yeah,
coming up.
thank you. And that's the main thing. Don't confuse yourself.
That's
Know
right.
who you are.
Know
Yes.
who you are and work
Yeah.
and work to that end.
You work to that end. And thank you, Martin. No.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful
Yeah.
day.
Yes, you too. I enjoyed talking with you. Bye bye.
Always do. We're gonna bring Julie up. Julie, man, Julie, one of my faves. How you doing, girl?
Doing great. I just wanted to let you know I love you again.
Oh,
How are you?
I am doing very well. I'm doing very well. I'm here with the Dow. I had a nice run this morning. I did a little did my Spanish. Did some practicing some Spanish this morning
Uh,
with a friend of mine in Belize. And yeah, it's been, it's just living the life. I'm a lucky man. I'm in love. And
yeah,
I
yeah, you are.
and
Which
I
is just
am. Yeah,
so good.
and it's like I last week I spent time in New York with Andy, and it's just wonderful to be in this space and
Yeah.
to be
Well, we
like
are.
it's just lovely to be me, really, like
Yes,
that's really what it is.
we are enjoying you as well. We
Oh
are enjoying experiencing your joy of life at
yeah,
the moment. We are loving that, and all of us wish you so much more, so much. If there could possibly be more, because I think
yes,
you
and
got
then
it
there's just
all. Yeah,
I have like I do I'm so grateful for just the how broad my vision has been able to grow, and now as long as my as long as I can continue to like be patient with the universe and like just be here now and
mm,
appreciate this moment, this
mm.
moment as it is with a love in my heart and like I was inspired yesterday to write something that I felt really just flowed through me, and it's beautiful. Like everything that I do is just
Do you know what my
I don't know, it's
vision
just
is?
enlightened. What's that?
My vision with you right now, what I can see in my imagination is you floating in a beautiful blue lagoon,
Mm.
and the temperature is perfect, and everything around you is looking effervescent.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm seeing.
that's how I feel, like, and it's beautiful because like, I can just be me, and this is
And
what
what a
Bruce.
wonderful, wonderful creature you are.
Yeah, and like to recognize that and to always come back to that. Always come back to, okay, this is about me being me. It's not about me trying to be anything else. Just not like,
Absolutely.
and nobody's asking me to be anything else. And
That's
and
the
that's why.
connection. That is
Yeah.
the connection with how I feel about you is I know you because you've allowed me to see you and many, many other people for you.
Yeah.
Once we talk to you, we can feel your essence, and that is you, and it's beautiful.
And what I, like as I read the Tao and as I do these things like I do, it's always like I try to put myself in a position where there is no identity to me. It's just
Mm,
openness. Like
yeah,
I want to be able to be open so that people can, through me, they can see themselves.
yeah.
Right. And that's
It's
the big,
it's
and
like
it's,
being an experiencer.
yes,
This is a way. So we've been popped into these kind of vehicles where we are experiencing, continually experiencing.
right. Just
To my
experiencing this moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
every moment there is something wonderful to experience. And it doesn't matter whether those experiences are good or not so good. At least we are here experiencing them and absorbing them in each moment.
Yeah.
That's quality.
Yes. And from moment to moment, we're just here. And if we can trust ourselves to just be here, and if we can remind ourselves, just be me,
Mm,
and check in with where we're living under the influence of others and where we're, oh, like I'm being influenced by this at this moment. And that's okay. There's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that. Just like I was saying earlier, this idea that, like if you surrender to this moment, you're in accordance with all things. Well, if you don't surrender at this moment, you're also in accordance with all things.
absolutely. Yes. You're
You know,
still following that flow,
that's
no
right.
matter what you're doing. You're
Then no
still
matter
following that
what,
flow.
you are right. You are contributing.
Yeah,
So
and noticing it is the key. Being
yeah,
able to notice it is the most beautiful gift
yeah, and to
I've been
notice like,
handed.
and
Yeah.
and you can notice the constriction, or you can notice the expansion, and you can just be
Yes.
there and have that experience without judgment.
I have a number. Is that
Yes,
okay?
please.
Number 17 today. Hello, lovely
17.
Kelly.
No.
Love Kelly.
17.
Yes.
When the masters take charge, hardly anybody notices. The next best leader is obeyed out of love. After that, there's the leader who is obeyed out of fear. The worst leader is the one who is hated. Trust and respect people. That's how you earn their trust and respect. The masters don't give you orders. They work with everybody else. The masters don't give orders. They
Mm.
work with everybody else. When the job is done, the people are amazed at what they have accomplished.
Hmm.
So you're back on your road trip.
Yes. Well, we are in interim at the moment, so we have had the experiences that we've had. We've moved down to Cornwall, and I'm now staying at Jaleesa's house, my youngest daughter. She's
Mm.
gone off to Disney World, and I am feeding her beautiful cats, Luna and Luna.
Uh, when is she heading
Luna.
down to Florida? Or is it
No, she's not going to Florida. She's going to Paris.
Paris?
So
Yes,
yeah, she's
that's
going to
closer.
Paris with her lovely little girl Lily, my granddaughter. So
Oh,
she's
wonderful.
given us this space to uh, relax, recuperate, absorb,
And for
and
how long
then
are you there?
we will set off from here back to our bicycles at Ilfracombe, and that will be probably the 22nd of July. So that'd be well, we're talking a week, so I'm
Yeah,
presuming that'd be about right. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Wonderful.
and we've got a heat wave over here, so everything is coming together well because we're not out in this heat trying to cycle up hills
Yeah.
and we've got water on in a tap. All these things are fantastic, and in
Yes.
the moment I'm really enjoying them.
That's great. So,
So
like, yeah, that's a beautiful moment, that interim moment, that moment
yeah.
in between. That's always so good to be there. Now, let's look at this. Let's look at this and see what, when the masters take charge, hardly anybody notices. The next best leader is obeyed out of love. After that, the leader who is obeyed out of fear. The worst leader is one who is hated. Well, if we look at, living under the influence, which, when we first met, you had a lot of influence in your life,
Mm,
you know, and there was a lot of things that you did out of fear.
yes.
you know. And then there was also a lot of things you did out of love, like, right, and that love and fear often kind of
Intertwine.
intertwined in a very very interesting way,
Mm,
you know. But then, you know, when that's those are the leaders, like when you're living under the influence of fear and love and other things like that, those influences are the things that are leading you. Those are the things that you are living under the influence of. You
yes.
know, but when the master takes charge, when you allow that, you know, in the Tao, we have those lines, and this is the second time I'm referencing it today. Is, you know, what is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job?
Mm,
Like, that is that that bad man part of you is being guided or being led by fear or love versus
mm,
just going. Right,
yes.
just being there, right, like you are here now feeding some cats without thinking about what is, you know, without thinking about, like, oh well, this is what I have to do to be loved, this is what I have to do to show love, this is what I have to do because I'm afraid of losing love, this is what I have to,
Yes.
for all
There
of
are
these.
no influence. There are no
None of those
influences.
influences are there
Yeah.
at the moment. That doesn't mean that they're not going to come in. It doesn't mean that they're not going to show themselves, of course. But here you are in this moment, allowing it, and then you can recognize that, you know, you can see this moment is good because, oh, there's a heat wave, whatever. You're not
Mm,
out there, so you don't even have to compare it because it may be hotter next week.
it may.
You know, so you don't have to celebrate that you're not out there. You can celebrate that you're here. Just
That's
like
right.
when you're out there, you can celebrate that you're there. And
Yes.
that's when, you know, the master in you, the good man, is going to teach the bad man, the one who is constantly having expectation, constantly holding on, constantly doing all of these other things. That is, you know, external to all of that.
Yeah, I think the biggest one is for me the hardest one for me to deal with is control. So amongst all this control, the need to control is gone.
Yeah.
I'm here now. It may be hotter next week. That's fine. Next week will be next week. If it ever comes, that's the
Right.
point I've got
That's
to.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Yes.
you trust, and that's when the master is taken charge in your life.
Mm,
Right? When the master takes charge, you hardly notice. You're just here, doing your dharma, being you in this
mm.
moment, you know? And that's why it's so easy to be in that moment, you know? And it's really, you know, like it's been easy for me to be able to be in the moment, you know, through the love that I've been experiencing recently, you know, like just
Yes.
being able to be in that space of just like, this is where I am
In the
without having,
lagoon. Oh,
yeah, in the lagoon, right? Like just allowing everything to just be as it is because it is all beautiful as it is.
absolutely how it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely how it is. And it is. That's it.
And
Not good, bad, medium, anything.
no,
Just that feeling it, just that acknowledging it, just that noticing it is just uh, an accompaniment, like a beautiful sauce on a steak.
yeah. Like what?
Right.
If it's a beautiful steak, you don't have to put sauce on it, but I understand.
Well, you probably don't then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like a
So
bit of peppercorn.
so this continues. Trust and respect people. That's how you earn their trust and respect. And as we were addressing this, is, you know, the good man and the bad man's teacher, and the bad man is the good man's job, right? Like, trust and respect people. That's trust and respect yourself,
Yes,
right? Trust
absolutely.
and respect
That's what
yourself.
I read when you said that.
Yes.
It is the good part of me, is my bad part of me's teacher. That's the point,
Hmm.
which is great, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, you know, like you are going to continue to grow and learn and, you know, get quote unquote better. whatever that means, right?
Grow. I like the
You're going to
word
grow.
grow.
You're going
Yeah.
to grow because every experience is going to continue to contribute. You know, that's why when the Tao talks about like it allows circumstances to complete itself. The circumstances under which you are here at this moment are one. In 3 years, you're going to have other circumstances which are going to continue to complete your experience. That doesn't mean you're incomplete today. It just means that you have different experience.
Yeah. Like a fractal.
Yes. And when you can trust and respect yourself, you will earn the trust and respect of yourself, which can then continue to broaden and take. And that's that good man coming forth
Mm.
and being trusted more by that bad man within you, by the person with less experience that's holding on to identity that you had when you were young,
Yes. Yes.
hanging on to those influences that you had. the
Thank you.
masters the masters don't give orders. They work with everybody else. They work with who you will become
Yeah.
within you. If you're talking about just yourself, when the job's done, you say, amazing, how, look at how much we've accomplished. And really, it's just being here now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Always so wonderful to share with you.
Same. Take care. Love you.
Energy Lady, and then Mary Kay and Kelly's in line. Don't know if we're going to get to everybody today. We try to. I'm trying to keep my energy up, so I might not get to Kelly. We'll see how it all runs out. So, Energy Lady, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm laughing because Julie and I were talking this morning, and she says, "Martin Johnstown, let's go on do a number for the day. Do a Dow
Oh,
for the day."
beautiful.
And I said, "Yeah." And the conversation you just had with her was in sync with what we were conversing with and more. And then she picked the opposite numbers that I was picking. I just think that's beautiful.
So you're going to 71.
Oh, you're so quick. Yes, I am. How long has it been since I've actually been up here, my friend?
I know, it's been a while. I've been like a couple weeks.
Well, because you don't pop up on my phone.
I don't. Yeah, and that's, I don't know why. I've found that I do not. Well, so I'm not always. I don't know what that is. Like I don't always come up on people's.
No, but you know that
Oh,
even when Julie, as an example, Julie comes up on yours, that doesn't show on my phone either, and it used to. So there's
yeah.
just something, and we're not programmers, so
No, and I'm not. You know, like I trust that
yes.
everything is going to always work out as it needs to, and I don't have to hold on to trying to make it work. I just show up when I show up, and we let it work. And I know last week, I think I was only here 2 or 3 days, so I'm not here every day anymore. I will be maybe this week, but last week I was in New York hanging out with my love Andy.
Well, good
So,
for you for honoring you again.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so 71. Not knowing is true knowledge. Presuming to know is a disease. First, realize you are sick, then you can move towards health. The master is her own physician. She has healed herself of all knowing. Thus, she is truly whole.
Shut up. Oh, Julie, I know you just heard that. Um, that's awesome. That's awesome because it definitely is a sickness to claim to be something other than who you are.
Yes.
And yeah, this is I was listening to you and Julie sending me messages. I was listening to you and Julie talk about the whole identity thing and enjoying being in your own skin and just every what I have, of course I'm paraphrasing. Every, you're enjoying every moment of being able to walk into, through your skin. And I love that because that's the same venue that I'm in.
Yeah.
So let's break this down. Let's see. But this is awesome.
Yeah, so not knowing is true knowledge, and presuming to know is a disease. Like I like that because it's allowing us, because so many of us want to know. Like we go out of our way to know.
Well, because we're taught that we're supposed to know. If we
Right. We're
don't know, then
told,
we're nobody.
right. We're told over and over that, like, we need to know. We
Yes.
need to have the right answer. And if you have the right answer, you will get good grades. If you have the right answer, you'll get rewarded. If you have the right answer, if you, and what is the right answer? The right answer is always the answer that is desired by the person asking the question.
Yes. And you know what? What bit just came to me when when I was a kid, we moved to Tahiti and I was 7 years old. And our landlord who rented us a house, he had a school. And the school, we were in there very quickly and out of there very quickly because if we made a mistake, we got our hands whopped by a ruler.
Yeah.
And my mom went, heck no. So it's the same thing as what you're saying. They were conditioning, do it our way or the wrong way. And I'm like, how do you learn if you're in fear of not doing it right?
Right.
Because you got to learn. And
That's right.
that was such a great example, what you just said.
Right.
All
And
right.
the thing
So
is,
I'm
is,
just
like
breathing.
I always look at this as, like even when we, even the science courses that I took when I was a kid, though the answers that I gave on those tests 30 years ago would
Yes.
be considered wrong today,
Oh, now that is weird.
right? Because like all of those tests taught me things that at the time we believed were true, but now they're not. And
Wow.
that's the thing, like when you're a kid and you answer a question
Yes.
and that you got that answer right, you presume you have truth
Yes.
and presume that you then know something. And how much work would it take for you to not only, fight the idea that like a teacher taught me this, I am here living this, I got this right, I was rewarded for this, and then I now have to capitulate to the fact that it's wrong and learn something new as an adult that's not, that hasn't really challenged myself to learn new things.
Right.
So here we go, like not knowing is true knowledge. Imagine if you got out of college and said, all right, I know nothing, I don't know anything. Like could somebody really do that? Could somebody really take that point and be like, I don't know? And that's why I think it's so hard for so many people in the world today to actually say, I don't know.
Okay. Just so you know, sorry, I had to play with that word
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I didn't, is that's what I did this weekend. I walked around saying, I really don't know. So show me. I really don't know. So here you are helping me in my heart realize and feel, not really realize, that I'm in the perfect space to keep going forward
Yes.
because I already said I don't know, which is, like you said, the hardest thing for people to do. But I already know I don't know. So when I tell people that, they think I'm crazy. Like, well, you should know. And I'm like, if I don't know, then that means I get to learn.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's hard for people to hear who I've been around because it makes me look like somebody I'm not, that they projected me to be. And that's what I've been breaking down. So, yeah,
Yeah. No, and that's, and here we get that first realize that you're sick, then you can move towards health. And that's
right,
what you're doing. You just move towards health. Like every time you presume to know something, every time you go, I know this and I'm going to stand my ground because this is right, you can question it. You can just stop and you can say, whoa, 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 whoa.
right.
We don't have to sit here and prove ourselves. We don't know. What we're doing is we're presuming to know. And then
Okay,
maybe we
just so
find,
you know, though, just so you understand for my sake, I was raised that way. That was what the energies and patterns and beliefs I was taught is exactly what you said. It's not there. That's what as it is stated in there, the disease that I am realigning with the truth, because that is what I was taught. This is exactly what I was taught, and we don't know. And I've been saying that for years. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know. I kept saying to my mom, "Mom, I don't know how to read." Well, what do you mean? I don't understand what I'm reading, but you're reading fine, but I don't understand it. She didn't. She thought that that was incorrect. So it was, how can you not know? And I'm like, because I don't. Even as an adult, people have a hard time when I say I don't know. I'm thinking, but that's a true statement to me, because I'm asking you, what can I do? And it doesn't come across that way. This is what I'm coming into, is my truth. My truth is, I can see that people don't have to know everything. But let's come together and enjoy the fact that we're perfectly imperfect, and we get to enjoy that part of our journey.
Yeah, I always like that's that whole idea of perfectly imperfect is like
Yeah.
don't let your definition of the word perfection, because if you know, like, if you know what the definition of perfection is, that's just a presumption, right? Because you
Oh,
are perfect.
absolutely. Because what is perfect?
Right. It is what is right now.
Right, exactly. And what is that?
It's what is. Yeah.
And we could keep going on that whole thing, because that's like just to realize what I have been doing is breaking down a paradigm that saved my life, but
Mhm.
now I'm flipping it because it was it saved my life in the moment. Now it's time to bring it together and combine it. That's not the word I wanted, but that is the
Mhm.
word that just came up. So yeah, that's interesting.
So then, yeah, this then wraps up with the master is her own physician.
Yes.
She has healed herself of all knowing, thus she is truly whole.
And I came to that one too in my heart. I can see that. I can see where that is for me, and I can see how I've just in the last couple months, which is why I haven't been seeing that much. It's just about taking care of me,
Yeah.
and it's not about anybody telling me what's right or wrong. It's about me saying, this is what is it that's, and I love this because I know what disease means. What is the disease inside of me that keeps trying to perpetuate? And I've been finding those things, and it was one major thing, and I love it. And I say major because it was a huge component in my understanding, and it was what I allowed other people to mastermind me as, so that I can have something. And now it's nothing.
Yeah.
So I've broken it down. I have broken it down, because why would Martin John care?
Right. I don't care.
And I do say, I know you don't. That's why I said that to you.
Yeah.
I was raised in an environment of worrying about what other people think. And anything I thought was incorrect. So I'm glad I did. And I'm just going with you on Julie's conversation. I am very happy I did, because it's really bringing a very broader perspective of how amazing we are as humans and everything that's being offered to us.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's my understanding and my love for what life is. Connecting those dots, saying, this is the energies, and I know what it means. Nobody even has to define it. You shouldn't care what other people think. It's not, doesn't matter. What matters is I realize that that's what the energies I was raised in that continued to flip me upside down. Who cares? It's a reminder to go back to and go, oh, okay, that's the disease.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing, because who I am, like how I stand up, like speaking to you right now, I don't care what other people think. I don't have that. But something inside of me says, you're supposed to. And so I'm starting to laugh at it, by the way, just so you know.
Right. Right. Right.
But it
Yeah.
is, what are you under the influence of? Worrying about what other people think. That
Yeah.
is the parameter of it, but it doesn't matter. At least I know it's a parameter. It's not something to hold on to forever and a day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are we done?
And
Go
this is
ahead.
how, yeah, and she's healed herself of all knowing. Like, you just stop thinking you know.
Yeah. Thank you. Off
Yeah.
my shoulders,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I
And there's
don't
no.
know. I only
Yeah.
know me,
Yeah.
and I don't even know me, but I like me, If I like me, then I've decided I'm going to just, keep playing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's just, it's beautiful. See how much fun that was? I mean, 17, 7. Thanks, Julie, for telling us to come on here today. I got some messages. She's writing to me, and I'm loving it.
Well, good.
Yeah, we're having a little threesome talk. But no, this is beautiful. And by the way, not that it matters, but I'm really happy for you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I send you love because I can feel it. I can feel it, and it's such a dear friendship, and
Yeah.
and that's, it's something to aspire to in my heart, is to see the simplicity of it, because that's what it's meant to be, is simple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and when it's there, you're like, whoo, and then it's, you know what I mean. It's just, it's life, but
Yeah.
it is life. It's not condition.
That's
So
right. That's right.
yeah, yeah,
And we cure yourself of all knowing. Just be here. Be
yeah,
now. Be as it is.
and see what happens.
That's right.
Thank you, love. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you as well. It's great to reconnect.
Yeah, big hug to you, because I haven't given you a hug in a while, so I'm sending you a big hug.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
All right, be good. Talk to you soon.
Hugs. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, we're gonna bring Mary Kay on. Mary, it's been a little while since we've chatted.
Oh,
How are
yeah.
you, dear?
Good morning, Martin.
And Kelly, I'm not gonna get to you
Wow,
today.
I can't hear you. Hold
Oh, can you not hear me?
on. Now I hear you.
Okay. And Kelly, I don't think I'm going to get to you today. I hope that's okay. I am going to end after an hour. I'm trying to keep these down to an hour just so I can keep my life in order. So I appreciate your like your patience. Mary, how's it going?
Not bad. It's so funny. Nancy was talking about me.
She's talking about you.
Yeah, I grew up in a household where don't do this, don't do that, don't dress like this, don't speak like this, be quiet. What are other people gonna think?
Yes.
It happened again. My mom came here Saturday, and it did not end up pleasant. And I love her so much. But she made one comment after I told her how I really, really felt. She said to me, "What about my life?" I said, "Ma, you're 94 years old. You have children around you that take care of you, that love you. I was not born to live your life."
So let's find a number that works with this. What number do you got?
I don't know. This morning I woke up. I'm debating between two numbers, 14
Okay.
and 15. But I'm going to go with the first one, 14.
1 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark. Seamless, unnamable, it returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all form. Image without an image. Subtle beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can know it. You can't know it, but you can be it at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom.
Wow.
So that's interesting as we relate it to your mom and that conversation you had, as she's looking and she can't see, like she has to look to you, and then she's only seeing the manifestation. She's not looking for the bigger picture. She's listening and she's trying to understand the world, but she can't. It can't be heard. It, which is the Tao, it, which is like she's looking for clues, but she can only see clues in her manifestation.
Mhm.
She's listening for clues, but she can only hear clues that are within the manifestation. She's reaching for control, and yet she can't grasp it completely because She's only grasping at the manifestation, and the manifestation is this which is around us. It is the stuff we are surrounded by. It is the stuff that we see. But what we see and what we hear and what we grasp at are things that started well before they ever manifested. They started in our heart. You know, above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark. It's not about
It's funny
looking up.
because she says something like that, to that effect, in different
Mm,
words,
yeah.
in a different language, and I don't know how to translate it. And her words were that I will never come here again. I said, Ma, I took care of you all my life. I'm just telling you how I feel, what has happened to me. And she always refers it back to herself. And then a few days later, I came to a realization. Yes, we are very much alike. However, I am also very different. Um,
So, you
and
know, as we, you know, like above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark. I mean, maybe we can look at this as being like above, like your mom holds a higher, you know, she's older and she holds a she's on a higher shelf than you. You know,
yeah,
like you know, if we talk about levels of things, you are definitely, you know, in a lower sort of space. So
yeah,
above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark. You're not dark. You know, you're not in the dark. You're not unknowing. And she isn't necessarily all knowing. And those are things that, you know, we're referencing here. Those are things that you were talking about where it's like you're 94. You are going to die soon, you know? And that's an important aspect to be able to, you know, like she doesn't, like, you can care for her. Above it isn't bright, below it isn't dark, seamless and unnamable. It returns to the realm of nothing.
it is really, at the end, it's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
And as is the relationship, right? The relationship that you have returns to the realm of nothing. It isn't that she is in control and you are not, or that you are in control and you are not. There is a back and forth. There is a dance that's happening,
yes.
which is, you know, like, and peace is found when there can be just accordance between it all. You can be present in this moment with it. You can be at ease with it.
But Saturday, I felt so badly that the way she left. Uh, but a few days later, I was in peace with what I said.
Yeah, it came from you.
Yeah,
And you know, that's the thing. Like, there are often times when we can get caught up in, did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Did I did I do this correctly? And really, we've always done it correctly. We're always here, present in the moment, doing what is best, doing what we need to do in this moment as we are, without having to, you know, accord any alignment or be in any way specifically. We can just be here now as we are, and we can trust that that which comes out of my mouth isn't going to be what is heard by the other person anyway. They're going to hear what they hear. I can trust in the universe that if I can be here in this space right now, then I can be me completely as I am. And then I don't have to question it because the Tao is within me. The Tao is speaking through me. So if I'm having discord, if I'm stressed, that's in accordance with all things, just as being in a state of surrender to all that is in accordance with all things. I can surrender to this moment, and that is in alignment. I can resist this moment, and that also is in alignment.
and I didn't. And I knew the funny thing was, I knew the conversation would end this way. I knew it.
Yeah.
It always does. But for the first time, I didn't feel that pain. I just said it, and maybe this time she understood it.
Mm-hmm.
And last night I had an unbelievable dream. It was so vivid in color. Everything was in color. It was beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, and as this returns, you know, as we return to this 14, form that includes all form, image without an image, subtle beyond all conception. You know, and that's like, you know, when we look at the Bhagavad Gita and other things like that, form that includes all forms, like the God, um, when 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 I'm forgetting names, um, when Krishna presented itself to the archer, I forget
Mm-hmm.
his name. I think it starts with an A. When that happened, it was like all of these things in one being, and it was so unbelievable. It was so huge. It was so big. It was unreal to Arshana. I think that's his name. Um, and and he begged Krishna to go back to his form that he could see him normally. You know, so form that includes all form, but you know, forms as we experience forms, you know, like it's the form of beauty and it's the form of ugliness and it's the
Mm-hmm.
form of anger and it's in the form of stress and it's in the form of all the things, because it's a form that includes all forms. And then it says image without an image, because an image will settle on something. An image will settle on, like, as soon as you have an image of something, you will say, oh, well, that is this, right? That is blue. That is a lake. That is a glass of water. That is an image. But as soon as you have an image, it of something, you will put it in a box. You will express it, and that could be you.
But
You.
Archie, I mean, you know that I'm an artist, right? I was.
Yeah, yeah.
There's certain things like certain people will see that others cannot see,
Yeah.
and I did
And that's why this is form that includes all form. It can
forms.
present itself
Yeah,
as everything, but it is not anything.
and it's nothing. Other people are like, no way, I don't see this.
Right, and it's subtle, because the
It's
thing that you see is so subtle it can't be conceived. And then we each experience that subtlety differently, slightly, moment to moment. You know, and then as you approach it, there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end.
ending.
You can't know it, but you can be it at ease in your own life. That is such an important line in the whole Tao. You can't know it, but you can be it at ease in your own life. What is that? Like, that's such a deep thing. You
Yeah.
can't know being at ease in your own life, but you can be it. If you know how to be at ease in your own life, that is going to go away immediately. And you know, I have to say, like, that's one of the great things about being in love, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
that I can be at ease in my own life, and I don't have to express it. I don't have to have expectations. I don't have
No.
to have all of the things. I can just be here and be it. I can just be at ease in this moment.
Yes.
And that,
That's something that love teaches us.
yes.
The
But
kids
you know,
see
like,
it.
if you the minute you try to understand why you're at ease, then you start to make expectations of what that's supposed to look like. And that's the same thing that you're experiencing with your mom. Your mom has all of these expectations. She's trying to know that she's at ease in her life, when really she just has to be at ease in her own life, no matter what she knows or doesn't know, which brings us back to our verse with Julie this morning, which says you can't know, you can't know any of it.
No.
Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. Realize that, like, it is deeper than all of it. It is deeper than one moment. It is deeper than the next. It is deeper than what you experience. It is deeper than what you expect. It is this which you are experiencing at this moment. And that's it. That's all you have is
And
this
then it
moment.
just goes away.
And right, it is going to, like, everything in your life is forfeit, no matter what it is. And as it presents itself, you can just be here in this moment and allow it to be as it is without having to describe it, without having to explain it, without any of it. You can just allow it to be.
Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's always
Beautiful
my
day.
pleasure.
Have a
Yes, you have a
beautiful.
wonderful day.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I do have Kelly in line. If you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up. And I'll just read your number. So we'll make it quick, and we'll do something. I hate to just have one person in line and just be like goodbye. I do want to end it though. So Kelly, how are you?
Hi, good. We don't have to. But what you,
I just would
Mary's was
love.
really beautiful. Huh?
Mary's was beautiful. Do you
Yeah.
have a number though?
54.
54. Okay. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. Let the Tao be present in your life, and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family, and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. Let it be present in the universe, and the universe will sing. How do I know this is true? By looking inside myself.
Yet again, spot on.
Spot on.
I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Beautiful. Of course. I'm glad I can share it with you. I'm gonna go ahead and just
Yes. Have a
yeah.
wonderful, wonderful Monday. Thank you, Warren Jump, for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you came up, or I'm glad that I brought you up for this. And now I'm gonna sign out, and I appreciate you.
You too.
All right. Okay, so that was it. I am trying to keep these down to an hour, because these are great. I really appreciate all of the love that I get here on Tao of the Day, and I am grateful for you guys for being here. I'm grateful for all of the love that I received, and all of the thank you, Dr. Robert, Julie, Energy Lady, Mary Kay, and Kelly for coming up and sharing the Tao with us. I will, like I usually do these morning Central Time on weekdays, and we're always open to have you guys come up and pick a number between 1 and 81. We share a little bit of the Tao. If you enjoy the work that I offer, if you enjoy the things that I do, you can tip me through Venmo at martinjohn_Garcia. Hopefully by the beginning of next week, I'll have my workshops digital so that you can purchase those and go through a Recover Yourself workshop and start moving in a direction of recovering yourself. I'm also on Instagram at Martin John, and you can find me there through my profile links and send me a DM if you're interested in chatting a little bit more about what recovering yourself looks like. I got 21 years clean and sober, and I talk about what does it mean to recover to something beyond what we're recovering from. Of course, recovering from is an important aspect, especially if we're dealing with addiction, but we're all, whether we're dealing with addiction or not, recovering to who we are. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you and all of the time that you spend listening to the Tao of the Day and listening to my shares. Thank you so much. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.